Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today I'm going to show you everything that I read in July. I didn't read that much in July because I had a really busy month, but the stuff that I did read was actually really good. So I'm excited to share this with you. So first up I'm going to start with an Agatha Christie. Let me just say, every Agatha Christie I've read I've loved. My favourite is Halloween Party. I'm obsessed with her books, so I loved this. This is The Body in the Library. I actually read this before. This is a reread. This is a really good one. So this is about the Bantries. They live in this big house. There's this really eccentric wife and her husband, and they go downstairs in the morning and there is a dead woman in their library. It's so funny at the beginning, because at the beginning the wife's in bed and she's very eccentric, and the maid comes in and says there's a body in the library, and she's like, what are you talking about, you silly girl? And in her head she's like, the maid's gone mad, the maid's actually gone mad. And then she tells her husband and he's like, the maid's gone mad, and they don't believe it at all. And then they go downstairs and there's this very glamorous woman dead, sprawled across the floor in their library, and they've never seen her before in their life. So they call Miss Marple, who is their friend, and she lives down the road from them, and says, do you know the girl? Is she from the village? What on earth's going on? If you don't know Agatha Christie's, what the whole thing is, basically it's an old lady called Miss Marple who she pretends to everyone she's a little bit dim and doesn't know what's going on, but she solves murders and she's amazing, and she's not part of the police or anything like that, and she always outwits the police, and I love her so. And I love Poirot as well, but I love Miss Marple. So Miss Marple goes, doesn't know who the girl is, and then Miss Marple tries to see who the girl is, try and track down her identity, and then from that find out who the killer is. And it's such a good one. I love this one so much because there's so many suspects and there's so many people who it could legitimately be, and I love those ones when it's not obvious at all. This is one of my best Miss Marples. This is a reread, and I'm sure I'll read it again in the future. Loved it. So absolutely adored. Next up I have Heat by Sally Emerson. This isn't a book that I would normally pick up. This was sent to me by the publishers, Quartet, and this isn't a new book, but they've rebranded the covers and done these druzzy photograph covers, so that's why they sent me some of her works. And oh my lord, let me give you the plot. This is about a woman called Susan. She's English, she now lives in America. She's a naturalist, so she writes about bugs and insects, and throughout the book there's so many different symbolism to bugs. So she'll be talking about a situation and they say, it reminds me of this kind of spider, and this spider does this, and it's so interesting. So now she lives in Washington, she's married, her husband's a political journalist, they've got a child, everything is perfect. They are wealthy, they are the American dream, everything is working out for her. She is now an artist and she draws bugs for different books. She's in a bookshop one day, she looks across and sees her old boyfriend. But it's her old boyfriend who she used to live with in England. So straight away she's thinking, why is he in my new hometown in Washington? He is a political journalist as well, and he says, I've come to Washington because it's the place to be for political journalists. So I was riding on that. I was like, okay, it actually is. I get that. But she's convinced that he's going to ruin her life, and that he has come back to get her back because she dumped him years ago. Throughout this book there are so many flashes of things. So she's talking about the night that she left him, but we don't find out what happened that night till right at the end. So we just get little snippets of information, this happened and that happened, then she ran away to a hotel, and it was really dramatic, but what actually happened? And she's kind of misremembering things as well. She's thinking, did that really happen? Did it not? It was so long ago, I can't remember. And then we're finding little flashes out about him and how he was with her, and she's incredibly frightened. There is dread throughout the whole of this book that she is terrified that he's going to destroy her life, and that is his intention. It starts off with little things, and this is very much what gaslighting is in abusive relationships, is they'll make you go mad. So if you've read Girl on the Train, it's that kind of thing and it happens in real life when you maybe shut the front door and then your partner will unlock the front door and leave it wide open so that you think you're going mad, and they'll say, I didn't open it, you must have left it unlocked. They do little stuff like that, and it makes you question yourself, and they can abuse you more because they have control over you. So it's little stuff like that throughout the book, and you're kind of thinking he's got something to do with it, but I can't work out how he's doing it. I can't work out what's going on there. This was so good. I don't want to give you too much information on it, but oh my god, it was so, I've tabbed parts on it. highlighted bits. There are quotes in this that I'll keep for the rest of my life, and there's such a good quote in it where it's basically saying that you have to be really careful with the lovers you have in life because we live with them forever. And really it's like he's a ghost from her past who's haunting her present, and she can't get rid of him, and all these terrible memories are coming back and no one can see. So her husband becomes friends with him, and her husband knows that they used to date, but she won't tell anyone, and you the reader don't know what he actually did to her, what actually was wrong in their relationship. You have no idea. You only get tiny little flickers, and then you can draw your own conclusion, which is so cleverly written. Like, I love this book. It's so good. It was just genius. Absolutely loved it. Adored it. Thank you so much, Gordon, for sending me this. And you sent me more of her books, and I'm going to read them all because I love them. Loved this. Such a good book. So, next up, moving on, a series of unfortunate events by good old Lemony Snicket. This is book 3, The Wide Window. I never read as a child, so I didn't read these. This was good. It's the orphans go and live with Aunt Josephine. If you don't know this plot, there's these orphans, their parents have died, they have to go and live with different family members, but then there's this villain called Count Olaf who is trying to track them down so he can get them and he can get their inheritance money. So he is tracking them down throughout the whole entire series. This is book 3. I'm done with it now. I'm not going to read on. It's not that I didn't like it, so it's a difficult thing to review because it's not that I didn't like it, there are other books that I want to read, and this series isn't gripping me as much, but I still think it's a really good book series. I think it's really good for children. The way they have like long words in it, and then Lemony Snicket will tell you what the long words mean and work them into conversation. I think it's a really good learning book. They're interesting, they're haunting. Yeah, I'm done. Like, the illustrations are gorgeous. It's quite repetitive from book 1 to book 3. It's following the same narrative. It's going to do that throughout the book series. I'm done with it now, but it was good. Good while it lasted. It was a good thing while we had it, but the magic's gone. We need to move on. We need to separate. We're done. The next book is The Starlight Bargain by Dodie Smith. So Dodie Smith wrote 101 Dalmatians and loads of other great books. I read 101 Dalmatians. This is the follow-on book from 101 Dalmatians, and then that's it. I don't believe she wrote anything else about them. I adored 101 Dalmatians. It is so sassy. It is so good. There is so much charm. Absolutely adored it. This is the follow-on from that. So when 100 Dalmatians ends, I'm sure everyone knows it, the Dalmatians are all living in Hell Hall, which was Corella's old home. So Corella DeVille, she's off, she's been punished, she's out of England. They're living in Hell Hall with loads of Dalmatians. It's Dalmatian paradise. One day, this is how this begins, one day all the Dalmatians wake up and everything's going great, and Pongo's kind of thinking, I wish there was kind of an adventure we were going on, but you know, everyone else is fine. Like, everyone else is happy, but Pongo's got itchy paws. And then the dogs wake up, the humans don't. The humans are fast asleep and cannot be woken. So this is about the dogs trying to wake up the humans and work out what on earth is going on, and Pongo gets his venture, and then at the end it's kind of like, God, I hope never to go on another one. It's like, be careful what you wish for, Pongo. Do you know what I mean? Like, selfish, you've caused all this. But anyway, their Cad Pig loved that whole bit. So Cad Pig is now the Prime Minister's dog, and so Cad Pig becomes the Prime Minister of dogs in this. Don't. Like, it's so gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. So some of the puppies, they're no longer puppies, they're dogs, and they live with other people. So Cad Pig, like I said, is the Prime Minister of England's dog. So all the dogs have to travel to number 10, which is where the Prime Minister of the UK lives, to see Cad Pig, and Cad Pig's trying to tell them what to do. And there's other great dogs in it, and so many great characters. There's a few cats in it, because they're like honorary dogs, they've got to be in it as well. I just thought this was absolutely gorgeous. This is so much heavier than 101 Dalmatians though. Like, if you've read this, you'll know what I mean. It's quite a shock, really. When you find out what's going on there, it's odd, because 101 Dalmatians, it's still got like a sinister side, because obviously Corella's going to skin the dogs. She wants to skin dogs for their fur. Like, it's a sinister thing. But in this, when you find out why everyone's not waking up and what the dogs have to do, it's kind of like, whoa, you went there. Oh, okay. I really, really loved it though. I thought it was really nice. and I really understood the plot, and obviously I think Dodie Smith must have really cared about dogs. And this is coming from someone who like loves dogs, good old Dodie, and she just wants all dogs to have a home and all dogs to be safe and all dogs to be loved. And maybe this was a book out of frustration of that she made this dog, because humans, you know, they abuse dogs and they treat animals absolutely horrendously and awfully. And so maybe this was her kind of thing of like, why do dogs put up with this? Why do dogs put up with this horrendousness? They shouldn't have to. And it was kind of a backlash to that. If you've read it, you'll know what I mean. I don't want to spoil anything here, but I did enjoy this. 101 Dalmatians is still the better book, but I did still think this was a really nice book. This is a really gorgeous edition as well. It was really good, but it went there, Dodie. It went there. So last but not least is a graphic novel. This is the Midas Flesh Volume 1. If you don't know the story of Midas, King Midas, it's a Greek myth. So the basic premise is Midas got asked, you can have one wish, what do you wish? It could be anything. And he said, well, that everything I touch gets turned to gold. So then he started touching things. Everyone turned to gold, all the people, he touches himself, he turns himself to gold. It's terrible. It's like his greed, be careful what you wish for, that kind of thing. So this is based on that, but set in space. Brace yourselves. So this is a graphic novel. The art style is stunning, really absolutely gorgeous, loved it. And on the spaceship you've got two girls and then you've got a dinosaur. Yes, a dinosaur. And they're three friends and they're going through space. And then they come across planet Earth, and half of Earth has been turned to gold because Midas turned it to gold. So they go into this gold world, which is Earth, and try and find out what on earth happened. They don't know about the story of King Midas, the Greek myth. They have no idea of that. At the same time as this narrative of them going into Earth and seeing everything that's been turned to gold and trying to work out what on earth's happening, someone is trying to invade their ship because they want them off planet Earth, because they want this all to be kept a secret. And then it goes back in time to the story of Midas is playing out at the same time. I really liked this. I thought this was so lovely. I loved the three of them's friendship. I thought it was really strong. It was really nice. There was a lot of action within it. I liked Midas's story was, you know, playing alongside theirs. So if you didn't know the Greek myth, it'd be very easy to get involved with the story because they're laying it out for you. I really did enjoy this, and I'm not a sci-fi fan at all. Like, I find sci-fi can be very clinical and difficult to get into. Loved this. I did cry. There's a bit with the dinosaur because it goes back into his kind of backstory, and it was just got me. It really got me. Even now, like, I'm a bit like, ah, it's a dinosaur, I know, but it was so beautiful. Really, really would recommend this graphic novel. Loved it. Gorgeous, especially if you're into sci-fi. Like, I'm not a massive sci-fi fan, but I think if you're into it, you'll absolutely soak it up. If you're into more kind of psychological, humanistic things, this still has that with the three of them's friendship and the flashback within it as well. Really enjoy this. And that's it. That's everything I read in July. Tell me down below what your favourite book was that you read in July, because I need some more like book recommendations and things. So let me know that. I hope you have a great August, and I'll see you again very soon for another video.